So hello and welcome from the URISA conference. We're here at our domicile for the week in New Orleans. Pretty good time so far.
Yes, definitely. The conference has been great so far. I've actually gotten to go to a lot of sessions on 3D GIS and seen several really good implementations of visualization, especially for government applications, so public government and visualizations related to planning and things like that. So it's really interesting to see kind of things that we do in a research setting and see people struggling to actually utilize them out in the real world.
Well, just as much as we at one time struggled in the research setting as well.
When I say struggle, they look really good, but I mean, they face a lot of issues related to getting data and actually creating visualizations that are useful.
Well, having the man hours to do these things
Yes, and
too.
having the time and resources, that's a big one. One of the presenters from the city of Las Vegas mentioned that he's the only person in his department that actually works on models. So, imagine that for a city like Las Vegas. So.
Yeah, and I also sat in on quite a few sessions. Most of mine were PPGIS kind of sessions, of course, kind of our other bread and butter at work. Sessions were really good. You have a lot of people talking everything from fairly theoretical, kind of conceptual, how to use these technologies, to actually seeing people take the geospatial technologies and GIS in general, GIS specifically and geospatial technologies in general, and actually putting them to work in a participatory manner. And that's always good to see people not just talking about how to integrate the public into a GIS program or project, but actually seeing it done is always very exciting.
And I think it's very apropos that the conference is in New Orleans this year, because there were, in addition to several direct examples of utilizing GIS to help in Katrina efforts, also just in general, the use of GIS for things like disaster management and planning are really highlighted here, especially when you walk around the city and see, how far it's come since Katrina happened, but also how much work there really is to go, and how the city is struggling with trying to still recover.
Yeah. We saw a keynote from one of the local state officials in their GIS program, looking at his project area specifically and all of Louisiana's geospatial infrastructure in general.
And he was instrumental in helping to get that rolling, and his area of expertise is oil spills. And it's interesting, the impetus to actually get a lot of that started in Louisiana was trying to manage oil spills.
And whenever whenever he was first talking, I was thinking, from the platforms out in the Gulf, but no, he was really talking about a lot of the oil and gas pockets that exist throughout the state that have been tapped into. So I was kind of
yes, the map you showed, it's basically there are deposits throughout the state. So interesting there, but it raised a really important point, is that a lot of times GIS gets started in an organization out of a specific need, and then as other parts of that organization or other organizations that are affiliated say, hey, we need this too, it expands out. But often, that initial decision-making process affects everything from data to hardware to software choices. And, it can be difficult a little bit to actually roll that into a really cohesive, agency-wide or statewide framework. So,
the other keynote on Wednesday morning was Chris Pettit from SSI, the Spatial Sciences Institute down in Australia. So that was kind of every year they bring someone across from that sister organization to the URISA conference, just to kind of keep that connection alive. And of course, every year the president, I think, of URISA goes out to or whenever they get a chance, they go across to Australia as well. And then today in Sue's session, as you'll hear about later in one of the audio discussions, he presented as well. It's been pretty good so far. Lots of good vendors, met some great people. Sessions were good. The other one I went to was about education, and looked at everything from the classroom to the boardroom was the title. It was good. But it's just really, it's kind of a different feel for a conference to see professionals talking about things that are actually being done day to day, as opposed to either talking about things theoretically, as we do a lot of times at the AAG, or talking about technical, as you would whenever you go to a user conference for a specific product. So it's a different kind of
I
feel.
agree, and very useful. So met a lot of great people, and of course got a chance to enjoy New Orleans as well. If you're thinking about coming back to visit, please, come and see it. The French Quarter is as great as always, and lots of stuff to do. So a little plug there for New Orleans.
It's still here. Come and enjoy it. Bring your money down. If you still have money, of course. The whole economic thing's killing us this week. And this month entirely. I don't know. That's about it, really. I mean, there's lots of things still to come. We're doing this on Thursday, but as you know, we usually forget to wrap it up at the very end, so we figured to do one now as opposed to not doing one at all.
And of course, this evening we're going to have to hit the quarter one more time.
So hopefully whenever you come to visit, you'll see Brad Gelino or something like that.
Which apparently their house is like 2 blocks away.
Yeah. Well, luckily we didn't see them. That's really about it. And URISA, if you have a chance, we'll be in Anaheim next year. Good place for a conference, especially for those of you on the West Coast. I was expecting to be a little bit bigger this year, but I think because of some of the storms and stuff that hit just before.
There were a few cancellations because right around the time when you had to have stuff due is when they were worried about Gustav.
Yeah.
So
there
was
I
that
think
problem.
it probably would have been just a touch bigger. But overall, it's nice to get to something that's smaller than the 6,000 of the AAG, because at that point you're overwhelmed. Whenever you have just 1,000 or 2,000, it's a good number. And it's a good sized venue for that number too. So if you get a chance, check out next year. Of course, don't forget all the other URISA-based conferences, GIS and CAMA, Caribbean GIS.
The Leadership Academy.
Leadership Academy. You'll hear an interview with President-elect Hillary Perkins about that as well. And of course, don't forget to head out and check out the GISCI, GIS Certification Institute, if you feel you are a GIS professional.
And of course, head over to urisa.org to get all this information and more.